Today is Friday, September 15th, 2023, and this is the Dunkley Report. Hunter Biden has been indicted on federal firearms charges. It's the latest step in a long-running investigation into the president's son that puts the case on track toward a possible high-stakes trial as the 2024 election looms. Biden is accused of lying about his drug use when he bought a firearm in October 2018, a period when he has acknowledged struggling with addiction to crack cocaine, according to the indictment filed in federal court in Delaware by a special counsel overseeing the case. The indictment comes weeks after the collapse of a plea deal that would have averted a criminal trial and weeks or months of distracting headlines for President Joe Biden. About half of Americans have little or no confidence that the Justice Department is handling its investigation into Hunter Biden in a fair and nonpartisan way. And 1 in 3 are highly concerned about whether President Joe Biden may have committed wrongdoing related to his son's business dealings, according to a poll by the Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs Research. But the political divide is stark. Some 66% of Republicans and just 7% of Democrats are very or extremely concerned about whether Joe Biden committed wrongdoing. The poll was conducted just before House Speaker Kevin McCarthy launched a formal impeachment inquiry this week, working to link the president to the business dealings of his son. The Libyan Red Crescent says that the death toll from floods in the eastern Libyan city of Derna has soared to 11,300. The Secretary General of the aid group says a further 10,100 people are reported missing in the coastal city. Mediterranean storm. Daniel caused deadly flooding in many eastern towns, but the worst hit was Derna. Residents said they heard loud explosions Sunday night when dams outside the city collapsed. Health authorities previously put the death toll in Derna at 5,500. The storm also killed about 170 people elsewhere in the country. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is telling fellow Republicans threatening to oust him, "Go ahead and try." The embattled GOP leader essentially dared his hard-right flank Thursday to quit holding the risk of a vote to remove him from the job. "If you're going to do it," McCarthy said, using a profanity for emphasis, according to those in the private meeting. A hard-right element largely allied with former President Donald Trump is demanding big spending cuts and threatening to shut down the government if he is to keep his job. Even McCarthy's decision to launch an impeachment inquiry against President Joe Biden did little to appease the demands. Donald Trump won't face trial next month in Georgia after a judge ruled Thursday that the former president and 16 others accused of illegally trying to overturn the results of the 2020 election will be tried separately from 2 lawyers in the case. Lawyers Sidney Powell and Kenneth Chesebro had filed demands for a speedy trial, and Fulton County Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee set their trial to begin October 23rd. Trump and other defendants had asked to be tried separately, with some saying they couldn't be ready by the late October trial date. The judge is citing the tight timetable, among other issues, as a factor in his decision. Thursday. For a history-making 2 months, a pig's kidney worked normally inside a brain-dead man. And while the dramatic experiment ended this week, it's raising hope for eventually testing pig kidneys in living patients. Surgeons at NYU Langone Health removed the pig kidney and returned the donated body to his family for cremation. The genetically modified kidney worked properly the first month before showing subtle signs that rejection was forming. but doctors say the kidney's function bounced back with simple medication changes. The lessons could help as regulators decide whether to allow clinical trials of pig organs. A federal judge has blocked part of a public health order that suspended the right to carry guns in public across New Mexico's largest metro area. U.S. District Judge David Urias ruled Wednesday. It's a setback for Democratic Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham. She's responding to several recent shootings that killed children. The public health order issued last Friday prompted a flurry of lawsuits and calls for Lujan Grisham to step down. The governor is accused of infringing upon the U.S. Constitution. Top law enforcement officials in Albuquerque and surrounding Bernalillo County vowed not to enforce the order, and the Democratic State Attorney General urged the governor to reconsider. A murderer who escaped from a Pennsylvania jail and was captured 2 weeks later told authorities he'd been planning to carjack someone and flee to Canada or Puerto Rico. Deputy U.S. Marshal Robert Clark says 34-year-old Danilo Cavalcante told investigators he could sense law enforcement closing in and planned to get a car within 24 hours. Clark says Cavalcante revealed other details about his life on the run since his brazen escape from the Chester County Jail on August 31st, including that he survived on creek water and watermelon. Cavalcante was taken to a state prison outside Philadelphia after his capture. NASA says the study of UFOs will require new scientific techniques, including advanced satellites, as well as a shift in how unidentified flying objects are perceived. The space agency released findings Thursday after a year-long study into UFOs. An independent team commissioned by NASA cautions that the negative perception surrounding UFOs poses an obstacle to collecting data, but officials say NASA's involvement should help reduce the stigma. The panel says NASA can model how to best approach the study of UFOs through transparent reporting, rigorous analysis, and public input. NFL players prefer playing on natural grass. It's why the NFL Players Association called on the league Wednesday to switch all fields to grass. The union's executive director, Lloyd Howell, says it's the easiest decision the NFL can make. Players consider it a matter of career preservation. The union's repeated request for all grass comes less than 48 hours after four-time NFL MVP quarterback Aaron Rodgers tore his left Achilles tendon in his debut with the New York Jets. A new artificial surface was installed this year at MetLife Stadium. Carolina linebacker Shaq Thompson has been fighting for grass the past 2 years. He says he hopes to see everyone to take a stand. Today's news was reported by the Associated Press. This has been the World News for Friday, September 15th, 2023. Thanks again for joining us at The Dunkley Report.